Welcome back to Timeless Messages from the I Ching. This is Stephen. Thanks for tuning in. So if you found this video, it means there are messages here to help you whenever you find the video and listen to it with whatever life situation you find yourself in. Whether it's in 3 weeks from the posting date or 3 years, it doesn't matter. The intention is the timeless messages for the viewers where they're at when they find the video. So without further ado, what are the most important and beneficial messages for the viewers at the time they find this video? Most important beneficial messages for the viewers at the time they find this video. Please guide this Yeshua, El Shaddai, Yahweh Yireh, Kishimanatu, all angels of love and healing, and spirit guides, strength and healing, most beneficial messages to the viewers at the time they find this video. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Most beneficial messages for the viewers at the time they find this video. I think I will bring this on down here. Get a little more space there. Another 7. Most beneficial messages for the viewers at the time they find this video. 3, 6, 8. Most beneficial messages for the viewers at the time they find this video. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Most beneficial messages for the viewers at the time they find this video. Most beneficial messages for the viewers at the time they find this video. Okay, 3, 6, 9. Okay, guess I did that right. That's right. Double check. Yep, that's correct. Most beneficial messages for the viewers at the time they find this video. Most beneficial messages for the viewers at the time they find this video. Okay. Another 9 that changes to a yin line, yang line that changes to yin. Let's find out what this is all about. So if you want to just rest your eyes and focus on your relaxation and breathing and whatever life situation you find yourself in, that's always helpful if you can do that. That's heaven, the top 3. This is Tui. This is the father. This is the youngest daughter. And the bottom hexagram does not change, stays the same, and this changes, yin, yin, yang, which is Chen. I think I can put this over here without going out of the frame. Okay, Qian and Tui, number 10. Running out of ink here. And Chen and Tui, and Tui. 54. 5, 4. Okay, there we go. Let's find out what their names are. Okay. We'll put the name on this one first. The Marrying Maiden. Oh, okay. Maiden. The Marrying Maiden. Okay, and number 10. Treading. Is that like treading water? Keeping your head above water. Treading. Okay, so here we go. Treading, conduct. The name of the hexagram means, on the one hand, the right way of conducting oneself. Heaven the Father is above, and the lake, the youngest daughter, is below. This shows the difference between high and low, upon which composure, correct social conduct, depends. On the other hand, the word for the name of the hexagram, treading, means literally treading upon something. The small and cheerful, which is Tui, that's the small and cheerful, the youngest daughter, treads upon the large and strong, the Father, heaven. The direction of movement of the two primary trigrams is upward, so Tui is going upward, as is heaven, so they're in agreement. The fact that the strong treads on the weak is not mentioned in the Book of Changes because it is taken for granted. For the weak to take a stand against the strong is not dangerous here, because it happens in good humor. Tui, the youngest daughter, is humorous, and without presumption, so that the strong person, or strong father figure, is not irritated, but takes it all in good part. The judgment, treading upon the tail of the tiger. The tiger does not bite the person. Success. The situation is really difficult. That which is strongest and that which is weakest are close together. The weak follows behind the strong and worries it. The strong, however, accepts and does not hurt the weak, because the contact is in good humor and harmless. So this pictures the idea of Tui, the youngest daughter, treading or stepping upon the tail of the tiger. The tiger would be the Ching, heavenly Father, or the most yang principle. In terms of a human situation, one is handling wild and intractable people. Intractable, now that's a word, isn't it? I would say intractable means very stubborn. In such a case, one's purpose will be achieved if one behaves with good manners. Pleasant manners succeed even with irritable people. So intractable, stubborn, and irritable. Heaven above, the lake below, the image of treading. Thus the superior person discriminates between high and low, and thereby fortifies the thinking of the people. Heaven and the lake show a difference of elevation that is in the natures of the two. Hence, no envy between the two arises. Among humanity also there are necessarily differences of elevation. It's impossible to bring about universal equality. But it is important that differences in social rank should not be arbitrary and unjust. For if this occurs, envy, jealousy, and class struggle are the inevitable consequences. If, on the other hand, external differences in rank correspond with differences in inner worth, and if inner worth forms the criteria of external rank, people accept and order reigns in society. So here we have the idea of inner worth being a very important thing to help order society. Rather than how much do you have, how much do I have, how big is your house, what kind of car do you drive? It's more about inner worth. Fascinating. So the lines, the changing lines, here we go, 9 in the 5th place. Resolute conduct. That means decisive conduct. Perseverance with awareness of danger. This refers to the ruler of the hexagram as a whole. One sees that one has to be decisive in their conduct, but at the same time, a person must remain conscious of the danger connected with such decisiveness, especially if it is to be persevered in. Only awareness of the danger makes success possible. So, this seems to be pointing to the idea that we should not be too decisive or resolute. because that could be creating some danger. But we should be decisive, but not extremely so. 9 at the top means look to your conduct and weigh the favorable signs. When everything is fulfilled, supreme good fortune comes. The work is ended. If we want to know whether good fortune will follow, we must look back upon our conduct and its consequences. If the effects are good, then good fortune is certain. No one knows themselves. It is only by the consequences of their actions, by the fruit of their labors, that a person can judge what they are to expect. I'll read that last sentence again. It is only by the consequences of their actions, by the fruit of their labors, that a person can judge what they are to expect. So, conduct, the idea of, well, if you conduct yourself in a positive way, then you're going to have good fortune. And if not, then you can't expect good fortune. You have to look toward the consequences of your actions to see whether or not to expect good fortune or not. And the other changing line is that one must be decisive in conduct, but one must remain conscious of the danger connected with such decisiveness. So there's a danger essentially connected with extreme decisiveness or resoluteness, especially if you have to stay in it for a long period of time. So only awareness of this danger can make success possible. You want to have a balance in your decisiveness. You want to be able to also let down and chill out and enjoy, relax. Don't always have your nose to the grindstone kind of thing. Yes, pay attention and be decisive in your conduct, but don't go too far with that. And the other idea is to observe your actions, your particular conduct and its consequences. Okay? If the consequences of your actions are positive, the fruits of your labor are positive, then you know what to expect. Success. So we move on from treading to the marrying maiden, and that's number 54. The marrying maiden. Above we have Chen, the eldest son. This is Chen on the top trigram. And below Tui, the youngest daughter. The man leads and the girl follows him in gladness. The picture is that of the entrance of the girl into her husband's house. In all, there are 4 hexagrams depicting the relationship between husband and wife. Influence describes the attraction that a young couple have for each other. Duration portrays the permanent relationships of marriage. Development reflects the protracted, ceremonious procedures attending the arrangement of a proper marriage. And finally, this hexagram, the marrying maiden, shows a young girl under the guidance of an older man who marries her. The judgment, the marrying maiden. Undertakings bring misfortune, nothing that would further. A girl who is taken into the family but not as the chief wife must behave with special caution and reserve. She must not take it upon herself to supplant or replace the mistress of the house, for that would mean disorder and lead to unstable relationships. The same is true of all voluntary relationships between human beings. While legally regulated relationships show a fixed connection between duties and rights, relationships that are based on personal inclination depend in the long run entirely on tactful reserve, good manners. Affection, as the essential principle of relatedness, is of the greatest importance in all relationships in the world. Affection. For the union of heaven and earth is the origin of the whole of nature. Among human beings, likewise, spontaneous affection is the all-inclusive principle of union. Here we have the idea of affection, very important, Also, the girl and the man, it doesn't necessarily have to be these genders, although it could. This paints a picture of a younger person who must behave with special caution and reserve because she doesn't want to create hostility for the already existing conditions, such as the mistress of the house. Here we have a mistress of the house who's the primary wife, and then we have other women that come in and are connected as well. So this is a kind of formal situation in ancient China. Fascinating ideas. So the idea of tactful reserve is important. Having good manners, not puffing yourself up, being humble, and being reserved. Okay. And the other idea is being dependent and following this older, wiser influence. Could be an older man with a younger woman. Could be two people of completely different genders. It's not important what the genders are, but the idea is that a young person is under the guidance of an older, wiser person who marries this person. So affection is also a very important principle of this connection, as is affection important in all relationships in the world. Because the union of heaven and earth is the origin of everything, and spontaneous affection among humans is the all-inclusive principle of union. Very important. Affection, spontaneous affection. So that's counseling in this image, in this hexagram, to also pursue affection, to be affection, to be shown affection and to show affection, to receive and to share. So the image, thunder over the lake, the image of the marrying maiden. Thus the superior person understands the transitory in the light of the eternity of the end. The image of the marrying maiden. Thus the superior man or woman or person understands the transitory or the non-eternal in the light of the eternity of the end. So everything is transitory. Thunder stirs the water of the lake, which follows it in shimmering waves. So this is thunder and this is the lake. The thunder is churning the lake into waves. This symbolizes the girl who follows the man of her choice. But every relationship between individuals bears within it the danger that wrong turns may be taken, leading to endless misunderstandings and disagreements. Therefore, it's necessary constantly to remain mindful of the end. If we permit ourselves to drift along, we come together and are parted again as the day may determine. If, on the other hand, a person fixes their mind on an end that endures, this person will succeed in avoiding the reefs that confront the closer relationships of people. And essentially those reefs can capsize the ship of that relationship. So very important messages here, because we have an older person who is stirring the waters of the younger person. This symbolizes the girl, the younger person, the waters, who follows this man of her choice. Again, this could be either gender, but this is just to illustrate based on this particular presentation and image. So a person following this person of their choice, okay, voluntarily. Every relationship has within it the possibility of danger. Endless misunderstandings or disagreements are possible. And we have to remain mindful of the end. Don't get caught up so much in the transitory, the bickering and so forth and disagreements. Consider the eternity to which we come from. And that can be helpful to help get the perspective into something larger and more encouraging than the transitory difficulties. So the other idea is, if we let ourselves just drift along with life, then we can come together with another person and we can part from them as the day determines for us, as events determine for us. And we are essentially at the mercy of circumstances. But if, on the other hand, we focus our minds on an end that endures, then we can succeed in avoiding the difficulties, the reefs, that face closer relationships between people. So we have to focus on a particular end, not the transitory difficulties that may be arising or disagreements. We have to focus on an end that endures, the eternal, and that can help us through those times. The transition from treading of the young girl treading upon the tail of the tiger, the importance of conduct, the importance of being humble, starts off the hexagram number 10, treading. We'll look at that one more time. One has to be resolute, but of course don't go too far into being so decisive that you're no fun to be around. So, and also look to see how your conduct is and its consequences. And if you can, try to make your conduct and your consequences quite positive, because that will lead you to much greater success. We see the possibility for some of you in a courtship, two people, a younger person and an older person with the marrying maiden, and this is quite promising. It does reinforce the idea that there are difficulties and disagreements in all relationships. Those are the dangers that are possible. But we have to remain mindful of something more greater than these types of disagreements. And if we can focus on this expansive, eternal aspect, then we can succeed in avoiding the difficulties that may be facing our interaction. So the woman is essentially choosing the young girl, the young woman is choosing an older man, the younger person is choosing an older person who shows her consideration and marries her. And the other idea, if you are considering a courtship, or if you're in a courtship, the idea of affection and being spontaneously affectionate, because this will help the union to not only be able to give this to the other person, but to be able to receive it from that other person. So that the success of the marrying maiden, where she enters the husband's house, can be completely a permanent relationship rather than a transitory experience. Courtship is a slow process, and the marrying maiden is an image of that slow process. So thanks for tuning in. I hope that these messages have brought some insight into your particular situation where you find yourself right here, right now. And I think it'd be wise if you wrote down some of these ideas, the base ideas, and refer back to these over the next days and weeks, and see how they work for you to bring you from treading to the marrying maiden. Relationship. If you're interested in a personalized reading, feel free to look at the description box. It's got all the details. And I would recommend that you listen to this reading at least once or twice more and let the ideas sink in as time passes, and you'll be able to develop new perspectives. Thanks again for tuning in, and take care.